Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So I've been getting a few questions around how does a data analyst or a data scientist is using SQL to answer business questions, which is going to be what I'm going to be covering in this video. I will be showing you practical examples of how data analysts or data scientists are using SQL to answer simple business questions. Now, to start with, the questions I've chosen are the most universal business questions. So it's going to be things like, what is the revenue performance for this year? What is the month-to-month revenue performance, the year-on-year revenue performance, the revenue versus target for the year, and the revenue versus target per month. In the second video, I'm going to cover some additional business questions, but this is going to be it for the first video. Now, the kind of raw data I've chosen is raw data that exists in every organization. So it's things like marketing data, revenue data, targets, the account lookup, the calendar lookup, and then the opportunities. Now, if you want to use this data to answer the same business questions and do the actual code I'm doing, I'm going to have a link in the description where it's going to take you to my GitHub repository where you can download the data yourself. Now, if you want to learn how to install SQL and how to create a new server, how to create a new database, and how to input that data in the new database, and then how to use SQL, I'm going to have a link in the description where I've created a video that answers all that. The focus of this video is simply how to answer those business questions. Now, just to inspect the data quickly, the first table, it has revenue data by account number, month ID, and product. The second table, it has marketing spend, again, the same by account number, month ID, and product. The third table, it has the targets. So it's the targets by account, month ID, and products. The fourth table, it has the opportunities. So here we have the estimated opportunities, again, per month ID, per account, and then per product. We also have some additional information, which we won't be using for this tutorial. The fifth table is simply details about the accounts. So you can see the account name, and then things like industry sector, account segment, and then the managers. And the sixth table, it basically has calendar information. So the month ID, the day, the actual year, the actual quarter, etc., etc. So if you want to view all of them, we can just run this and then we can inspect all the tables together. Right, starting with our first question now, I'm just going to copy it and paste it down here. The question says, what is the total revenue of the company this year? And when I say this year, I mean FY21, fiscal year 21, to be more specific. To answer this question, we obviously need to use the revenue data table. So I'm just going to copy it, paste it, and run it to inspect the table. What we can see straight away is that we do not have a fiscal year column here where we can easily sum the revenue where fiscal year equals FY21. However, we do have month ID, so we somehow need to use the calendar now to only select the month IDs that correspond to fiscal year FY21. So I'm going to start by summing the data before I show you how to filter out the month IDs. I'm going to say select and then say sum, capitals, sum, and then I need to sum the revenue, and I'm going to name this as total revenue FY21 from the table, and then say where, open brackets, and in the brackets is where I need to specify all the month IDs that correspond to fiscal year 21. To identify those now, we need to use our calendar. So I'm just going to copy the calendar quickly, paste it down here, and then run it to inspect it. We need to identify the columns we're going to use. So this is the month ID, the column we need, and this is the fiscal year, which is the column we need to filter FY21. So I can simply say select all from our calendar where, capitals, fiscal year equals, and then say FY21, and then run this to inspect the data. So now we get, as you can see, all this data is fiscal year FY21. However, we don't need all the data. We only need the month IDs. So I can say select month ID from the calendar where fiscal year is equals FY21. However, this is going to return all the columns, so with duplications. But because we don't need duplications, we only need the distinct month IDs. I need to say select distinct, and then say month IDs, then say month ID. So this query now should return us only 12 month IDs. There we go. So we only have 12 month IDs that correspond to FY21. What we can do now is that I can either manually copy and paste those month IDs in our brackets here and run the data, or I can copy the whole query and use it as a subquery. So I can say where month ID in, and now if I run the whole thing, it's only going to sum the revenue where the month ID is in this month, because this subquery returns these month IDs here. So let's just run it to view it. So as we can see, we have a total of 107 million something revenue for fiscal year FY21. Now, if I want to see the revenue by month, I can simply bring month ID. So I'm going to copy it, paste it, put a comma, and then say select month ID, then run the revenue. Rename this as total revenue from the table where the month ID is in, and I'm only selecting month IDs of FY21. And now because I've used month ID here, and then I'm aggregating the data, I need to use group by. So I'm going to say group by, and then month ID, paste month ID, then run the whole thing. So as you can see, we only have data for the first 6 months of the year. If we want to add the actual month next to each month ID, we need to left join the calendar and then select the month in order to be able to see the actual names. However, our question was only what is the total revenue, so we don't really need this, so I can comment it out. We don't really need the month ID here, so if I run this, we can answer the question. Our total revenue is 107 million. Right, moving on to our second question now. I'm just going to copy it and paste it down here quickly so we can work on it. The question says, what is the total revenue performance year over year? So we are looking to compare FY21 with FY20 now. So from the first question, we have already identified that the revenue for FY21, I'm just going to copy and paste the whole thing, is 107 million. So if I just give a title to this one as FY21, so we know what we have. And then if I just copy the whole thing and paste it below and simply change our where clause to be selecting the distinct month IDs from the calendar where fiscal year equals FY20, a year back. And then let's also rename the name we're giving the column, and then this one to be FY20. If I run this now, we should only get, there we go, the revenue for last year. So for month IDs that correspond to fiscal year FY20. However, we need to be careful here because the first table, if you remember, has data only for 6 months. The second table, which is last year, should have data across all 12 months because it's a completed year. If we just test it quickly, I'm going to remove the dashes and then run this. We can see that we have data for 12 months. So it's going to be very unfair if we compare 6 months over 12 months. What we need to do now is we only need to select year to date for last year. This means that we only need to select the first 6 months that correspond to the same 6 months across FY21. To do this now, there is multiple ways of doing it, but a smart way of doing it is that I'm going to simply copy this subquery, paste it down here, so I'll show you how to work out the solution. On top of the subquery, I'm going to select all from our revenue data, our revenue table, where month ID in, and then I'm going to change these to be FY21 as it was before. Select, oh, sorry. Actually, I need to select distinct month ID here. So what this query now does is that it selects the distinct month IDs from our revenue data where the month ID is in fiscal year FY21. So these are the same 6 months IDs that we have from our first question. Remember when we run the data by month ID. And now, a simple way of doing this is just say minus 12 here. So when I'm selecting month ID, so what this is going to do is that it's going to take this number, which might be January. I'm not entirely sure. Actually, no, this is not January. 133 is January, the lowest, and do minus 12. So it's going to get January last year, because if we take a month ID this year and then minus 12, do minus 12, we should get the same month for last year, because each year has 12 months. So now, if I run the whole thing, we only going to have the month IDs for the months that exist in this year. However, it's going to select the month IDs from last year because I'm doing a minus 12. So if I simply copy this and paste it into our subquery here, so remember, what did I do? Copy and then paste it in our subquery, and then run the whole thing. Remember, this is FY20. We can see that it only selected 6 months now, not 12 months. And if I totally remove the months, so I'm just going to remove the months so we can have the totals, and then run the whole thing. Let's just add delete here. We should have the revenue for last year only for the first 6 months. So now we can do the whole year over year thing. To do the year over year, I simply need to add brackets around my two tables and name this. This is my B, this is going to be my A. Then I put comma in between them. I'm not going to left join them. I just need one number. Then I'm going to push them in. And then I'm going to say select. So I need A dot total revenue, comma, B dot total revenue last year. You can see I'm taking A from table A. I'm taking B from table B. Now I can do this A dot. Actually, we don't need to use the A dots because they are different column names. So, and then minus B dot, but because it's best practice to do it, it's easier to remember from where each data comes from. A minus B is going to give us the absolute difference. So this is going to be the dollar diff year over year. And then if we want the percentage difference, we're just going to copy this again, paste it here, and then say A divided by B, and then do a -1 because I want the difference after 100%. And this is the actual year over year percentage. I need to change the dollar to percentage difference. And then say from. Now, if we run the whole thing, we get a nice small table that has the revenue for FY21, the revenue for FY20, the dollar difference, which is about, let me see, 51 million. Yes, correct. And then the year over year increase, we had a 91% year, so almost double, as you can see. It went from 56 million to 107 million. By the way, if you feel that you're getting enough value out of this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel. Right, moving on to our third question now. I'm just going to quickly copy it and paste it down here. The question says, what is the month-over-month revenue performance? So what we need to do in this question is something similar that we've done in question 2, but instead of selecting this year and last year, we should select this month and then last month. So I can quickly copy and paste this because it's just easier. And then say this is this month. To identify this month, so basically the latest month that we have data, I can bring back the month from our query so we can actually see. So we can now see that the maximum month ID that we had data was month ID 138 because it's the highest. So if I replace our subquery now with 138, I should get data only for this month ID. So there we go, for the latest month ID. So now I can copy this, paste it below like we've done at the top, and say, change this to 137. So I'm going to have a month over month performance. However, this is a very manual way and it's not going to work next month. We somehow need to automate this subquery. So this is actually very easy to do. What we can do in the subquery is say select, and then we can select the max month ID from our revenue table, right? So if this is our revenue table, copy, paste, let's close the subquery. So this subquery now should select the max month ID that exists in this table, which should be week 138. There we go. So even next week, when we're going to have, next month that we're going to have new data, this is actually going to readjust to the new data. However, if we hard coded in like before, it's not going to readjust, hence it's not going to be automated. So now, this is actually this month, and then I can copy this below and say this is last month. And to select last month, we can simply do select month ID -1. Very simple, right? So this should give us a number of 137. There we go. So it always going to select the max month, the previous month from the latest month, this subquery here. So if I just close the brackets now, as we've done in question 2, I need to filter out month IDs because I don't need month IDs. I only need the sum, the total, this number here. Let me filter it out. This is our A. Okay, comma, this is our B. And now at the top, here is where we're going to select the data. So we need to select total revenue. I'm going to change this to this month. Total revenue last month. So copy, paste. Again, I don't need the A because it's different namings. However, it's best practice to use A's and B's. Copy this, paste it, then comma, then the other one. The actual dollar difference is going to be this month minus last month as month over month dollar if, and then I'm going to copy this again, paste it. This month divided by last month is going to be as month over month percentage difference, and let's say from our table A and B, then on the whole thing, so we can see that the total month the total revenue this month was 21 million. Last month it was 19 million. The dollar difference is about 1.2 million, and then the month over month is 100. Have we done -1? No, we haven't. We need the difference after 100%. So the month over month percentage is actually 6% increase month over month. Right, moving on to our fourth question now. If I go at the top, copy it, then go down here and paste it. The question says, what is the total revenue versus target performance for the year? So we're looking at percentage basically. Are we ahead or below target for the whole year? So first thing we need to calculate is the total revenue for the year, for fiscal year FY21. We've actually done this before. So I'm going to scroll at the top, question 1, which calculates the total revenue for the year. Copy it, paste it down here. So now I do have the revenue performance for FY21. Below it, I need to calculate the target now. So to find the target for fiscal year FY21, we can simply go to the targets table. So scroll up, get the targets table, and then run it to visualize it. So in the targets table, as you can see, we have account, month ID, product, and target. We don't have fiscal year in order to just filter out FY21. So we need to use a similar approach as question 1. So I'm going to select and then say sum the target as target, actually FY21 target, and then from the table, and then say where month ID in, and I'm going to use the same month IDs as we have up here at the top. Copy it and paste it. So the month IDs for fiscal year FY21 are these 12 month IDs, And then if I run the whole thing, I'm going to get the target for FY21. However, again, we need to be careful because we have targets across all months, future months too. So this is actually summing 12 months worth of data, and the first one only has revenue for 12 months. So it's unfair to compare 6 months versus 12 months of target. To do this, we can to visualize this quickly, just to check if we do have targets for all 12 months. I'm just going to add the month ID here, just to test it quickly. Copy, paste, then run this. There we go. As you can see, we do have targets for all 12 months. So we somehow need to filter out only the months that we have revenue in the revenue table, right? So we're comparing the same months. So to do this, we've already shown how to do this. I'm going to literally scroll up and copy the same subquery as before. So if we scroll up to question 2, and this is where we filter out the month IDs, I'm going to copy the whole subquery. Question 2b, paste it down here first. I need to test it before I check it in. So this subquery selects the distinct month IDs -12. We need to remove that -12 from the revenue where the month ID exists in FY21. So if I do if I remove the -12 and just run it now, this subquery selects only the month IDs that we have revenue for. So if I copy and paste this subquery in my targets subquery, it's only going to sum the targets that exist in these month IDs. So in the month IDs that actually have revenue. So I'm going to copy this, paste it in here, and then remove this. We don't need it. And then sum the targets now. Test it. There we go. We have less targets now. And these targets are only for the first 6 months that we actually have revenue for. So again, I need to close these tables as we've done before. They are not tables. I call them tables, but they're actually queries or subqueries. This is our A, comma, then we have our B, and then at the top is where we want to select. We want the total revenue, comma, we want the target. We want the revenue minus the target to get the dollar diff. So this is the revenue minus target as dollar difference. And then I'm going to copy this again. Again, my namings are not the best, but I'm trying to be short. And then total revenue divided by the target -1 to get the revenue versus target difference, the percentage difference, and then say from. Then if we run this now, there we go. We have our total revenue, our target. We can see that we are about 3 million ahead of target, which is about almost 3% ahead of target across the whole year. Right, so moving on to our 5th and last question for this video. I'm just going to quickly copy it, paste it down here. So the question says, what is the revenue versus target performance per month? So this is actually very similar to our previous question. However, this time we need to do the revenue versus target per month, just to be able to see if we are meeting the targets per month, if there is a month which is overachieving or if there is a month which is underachieving. To do this, I'm just going to start by copying the previous question, especially the A and the B, because it's very similar. However, now in the A, I need to bring months, the month ID, because remember, I need to see the revenue by month this time, and then the targets by month. So I'm just going to bring revenue. So my A now has the revenue per month. In my B now, I need to bring month on B too. So I'm just going to copy this, paste it here, put comma, and then group by month ID again. So paste it here. So my B, if I run my B, just to check it now if it's per month, there we go. So we have the targets per month. However, comma is not going to work now because I have more than one value and I have to use a join now. I have to make sure that the month ID 138 corresponds to month ID 138 from table A. So to do this, I'm just going to run a left join. So go here, say left join. The column I'm going to join on obviously is month ID. So I'm going to say on a.month ID equals b.month ID. Again, if you want to learn how to use joins, I'm going to have a link in the description where I explain everything on how to use all joins. So full joins, left joins, cross joins, right joins, and inner joins. Right, and then at the top now, I just have to, I'm literally going to copy and paste the previous one because it's almost exactly the same. So select, I'm using the select. The total revenue, which is coming from here. However, this time I need the month ID. And I'm going to take, if I just put month ID, it's going to throw me an error because month ID exists in both tables. However, because they're the same month IDs, I'm not using a full join or a left join because everything exists on both tables. I'm going to say a.month ID and it's going to be fine. Then this is coming from A, the target is coming from B. This is the dollar difference and this is the percentage difference. However, this time it's going to be done by all month IDs. And then I put from. Yeah, and if I run all this now, it should be correct. There we go. So we can see if I need to order it by month, so it's easier to visualize it. So we start from January, order by month ID. I need to put a.month ID. Then run this. There we go. So we can see for January, we actually missed our target. Then we hit, and then we missed our target for the last month. I assume this is June, which is a month ID, the 6th month. If I do want to add the actual months now to be able to visualize what month it is, I need to do another left join here. So I'm going to say left join, and I'm going to bring my calendar this time, left join. So I'm going to select everything from my calendar. So not everything actually, I need to select the distinct month IDs and then comma the fiscal month. So fiscal month is the actual name of the month. So if I just run this now, you will be able to see that each month ID has a month next to it. I don't need to filter out only the month IDs that exist in table A or table B because I'm going to use a left join. So whatever matches, whatever exists in A is going to match. Anything else is not going to match. So I don't have to slice it in. However, if you are working with big data, it's always good to filter out your subqueries so you're using as small data as possible, so it's not going to take you that long. Anyway, so this is our C, and I'm going to say on a.month ID equals C.month ID. Because A has all the month IDs, I don't need to do and B.month ID equals C.month ID. This is still going to work. So now I want to bring fiscal month next to month ID. I can say C, but because fiscal month does not exist in A and B, it's still going to work. And then if we run this, we can see January, February, March, April, May, and June. There we go. So this is how we use SQL to answer question number 5. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video and you've gained enough value out of this video. If you feel like you did, please click that like button and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. In the next video, I'm going to be answering the remaining of the questions. Thank you very much for watching.